How's it going, everyone? Today we're going to talk a little bit about candle magic. Before we get started, we have to analyze the candle, the color, the intention. This is going to be for prosperity, abundance, wealth. Typically, I would use a blue candle, as it's the hour of Jupiter right now, and I'm burning some Jupiter incense. But I like to experiment. This is a science as well as an art for me. So we're going to try something different. We're going to use a green candle, and we're going to use a gold paint marker to inscribe the candle with. I've got this pack of paint markers here. It was like $10, and it comes with a lot of different colors. Awesome buy. It's this is the brand. And then I've also got some various stones and gems. Looks like I'm almost out of obsidian. This was $10 as well, believe it or not, on Amazon. I'm not sure what this brand was. So, we need to analyze the candle. This one, as you might be able to tell, has walls that curve up like this. And I used to make candles, and I burn a lot of candles. So to me, this is a red flag. What's going to happen if we light this candle the way that it is the wick is going to burn all the way down, and these wax walls are still going to be up here. They're going to melt, and then they're going to drown the wick or severely hinder the burning of the flame. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this heat gun that I have here, and I'm going to use it to melt the wax down. So I will be right back with that. Okay, welcome back. So now that the wax is melted and at a more level, we're going to get our herbs and our ingredients that we're going to place into the candle. Be careful when you lean toward the candle like that if it's got molten wax in it. Got a mortar and pestle here, and I'm just going to place my herbs. I'm adding some allspice. And you want to watch how many herbs you add because it can gunk up the wick. So we're going to use allspice. We're going to use a little bit of clove. We're going to add in some St. John or High John the Conqueror's wort. And I'm just getting these ingredients out of my little spell chest that I have here that's full of different herbs and things. What else are we adding? Some patchouli and nutmeg. And I'm actually going to add some Irish moss as well. Like I said, you don't need too much, just enough. And where's the patchouli? Got some cedar in there as well. We've got some 5-finger grass. That's perfect. We'll add a little bit of that as well. Just whatever works for you. Okay, I'm actually going to skip the patchouli because I've got enough in here. So, we're going to break down these herbs. I've got a marble mortar and pestle here. I also have a soapstone one. One trick with soapstone mortar and pestles is if you take a nail and you score the soapstone, it can really help to grind those herbs. It just gives it a little bit more purchase. Okay, so we've got the wax melted here. And if you want to do an invocation, you can do an invocation. I'm just going to do a visualization as I sprinkle these herbs into the wax. And I'm not going to add very much, like I said. And I don't like to waste. Waste not, want not. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to save the rest of these, and I'm going to put them somewhere, and I'm going to label them as a prosperity blend, basically. All right, next. Oh, I've also got some farm soil here from a local farm for fertility and prosperity. So I'm just going to take a little chunk of this soil and sprinkle it in there as well. When I got the soil from this farm, I did a blessing for abundance and fertility for that farm for letting me borrow some of their soil. I also did an offering when I collected the soil. Okay, so now I've got these herbs ready to go into the wax. I'm going to choose one piece of aventurine. You can use aventurine, citrine, tiger's eye, amazonite. I'm actually only going to use aventurine and citrine in this candle. Whoops, broke the cork there. These corks are a little bit weak. I will let you know ahead of time. I'm actually going to have to replace this one because I just destroyed it. So I'm going to take one piece of aventurine. I'm going to press it down into that wax. I'm actually going to take 2 pieces. I'm going to use 4 total, also corresponding to Jupiter. If you want to use blue, you can use blue. Do whatever you like. Lightly place that cork in there so I can get it back out. And then I'll take 2 pieces of citrine and place them in the wax as well. I'm working clockwise as I'm adding these stones in there to bring and invoke the abundance as opposed to the opposite. All right. Now, you can go ahead and reheat that wax and level it down if you like. Mine's still a little bit wet, so I don't have an issue with just sort of flattening it out. Got a train coming by if you can't hear it. For some reason they feel the need to bellow their horn like crazy. Okay, so we've got our herbs and our stones in there. The next thing that we're going to do, I have written in a personal script these words: prosperity, wealth, abundance, affluence, and I have translated them. You can use Enochian, Malachim, Hebrew, Arabic, Theban, whichever you like. And then I also have created a sigil here. And while I made the sigil, I was working in a clockwise manner. Always clockwise whenever you're trying to bring things. Everything that you do, try to do it in a clockwise manner. See if I can adjust the lighting here just a little bit. There we go. Okay, then we've got the paint marker here. I'm using gold. I might also use silver as well, but yeah, I like these paint markers. They are really, really useful. I've also got a nice piece of quartz here next to me. It intensifies and amplifies whatever you're working with. If you don't believe in crystals, if you don't like crystals, don't use them. I've noticed that they help. Perhaps it's psychosomatic. Doesn't matter. This is an art and a science. So the first thing that I do after I get the herbs as sort of an offering to the egregore or the spirit that I'm going to be working with, I'm not using a particular deity. I'm creating a thought form, essentially an egregore, with this process. So make sure that you have tamped down the herbs. Make sure they're nice and stuck, because we're going to turn the candle upside down and we don't want them to fall out. If some fall out, that's fine, but we want to keep most of them in there. And you can even do this so that if they do fall, they're collected. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to draw the sigil that I've created onto the bottom of the candle. You can't even, there it is. Okay. So that's what I'm doing now. And it doesn't have to be perfect, you know. You know what it means, you know what it's for. I'm just gonna draw it really quickly. And again, working clockwise. Okay. Again, you can speed up the process by using a heat gun. I will be right back. Okay, we're back. Something I forgot to mention earlier, if you don't have a heat gun, this one was like $10 or $15, but if you don't have one, obviously you can just blow on it, you can wait, but if you're concerned with this part of the candle, you can just scrape it down with a spoon or a butter knife or a chopstick or something, and flatten it out that way, and then press it. A lot of times these candles are pretty soft, especially these kind here. So okay, we've got the sigil on the bottom of the candle. Then what we're going to do is we're going to work clockwise around the candle as we inscribe it with the script that we have. I will be right back. Okay, so we're back. Here I have I'll scoot in here a little bit. So I have the somewhat complete candle here. And what I like to do is I like to add some color around the rim as well. So here we have abundance, wealth, prosperity, and affluence. So sigil on the bottom. I did 4 just to save time. I've done as many as like 10 or 12 lines before. Another thing that I like to do sometimes, that perhaps I'll show in another video, is sometimes I will create a sigil and then I will extrude it in a vertical manner, so that it covers, you know, the entirety of the candle. Another thing that you can do is take silver. Also, to me, relates to money. So what I'll do sometimes is I will just add some decoration at the top with some lines around the quarters of the candle going clockwise. Another thing that you can do is you can write the statement of intent across the candle going clockwise. I was going counterclockwise there, going clockwise around. So yeah, that can look a little weird in English. You might use Hebrew or Arabic if you're familiar with those languages, because they go counterclockwise. But yeah, this is a relatively simple but effective technique. And I gotta say, I really like the green and gold. This is why it's so important to experiment, because this radiates more wealth energy than any blue candle that I've made, which is obvious. From a folk magic perspective, green relates to money, but from a Kabbalistic perspective, if you're working with Jupiter, blue often relates to Jupiter. But yeah, here it is. Here's the candle. Thanks for watching.